Good morning and welcome to the Forest Growers Research Conference for 2021. My name is Dodson and I have the pleasure of introducing the second session on day one titled Industrial Forest and Wood Products. For those of you who don't know me, I'm based in Dunedin where I work at City Forest Limited as CEO. I also contribute to the industry through a number of roles with Forest Owners Association, Southern Wood Council, and I sit on the Forest Growers Research Board. Following my short introduction, today's session will be 5 15-minute presentations, followed by a 20-minute Q&A session, and we hope to conclude at 12:05 p.m. So, running you through the presentations. Presentation 1 begins at 10:30, and it'll be brought to us by Steve Wakeland from Scion, who will present on the Tree Root Microbiome Program, which is a transformative platform for forestry. Steve is a senior scientist at Scion, specialising in forest ecological genomics and tree-soil interactions in a changing environment. He has a PhD in plant pathology and experience working for the CSIRO in Australia as an environmental microbiologist. Before joining Scion in Rotorua, Steve worked at Ag Research as a soil and plant microbiologist. Steve's presentation this morning on the Tree Root Microbiome Program will firstly touch on innovation in forestry science and the balance between applied research that will make a difference today alongside the need for the discovery of new areas of science that can create value for the industry in 10 or more years' time. Steve will then introduce an exciting new joint MBIE/Forest Growers Levy Trust funded program that is aiming to develop the next generation of tools for our sector to rapidly adapt to a changing climate, as well as the potential discovery of new value opportunities from wood and forest products. Presentation 2 at 10:45 a.m. will be brought to us by Simeon Smale, who will talk on the Resilience Forests Program, which is a portfolio of opportunities for raising forest sector productivity and reducing risk. Simeon Smale is a senior scientist at Scion, specialising in plant-soil microbe interactions at various scales. He completed a Master of Science exploring nitrogen cycling in Red Beech Forest during last year's, and followed that up with a PhD investigating the long-term impacts of radiata pine site management on soil microbial community activity. Simeon joined Scion in 2006 as part of the field team and has subsequently made his way up through the organisation in various roles and positions to his current role as senior scientist. This morning, Simeon will provide an overview of the Resilient Forest Program, touching on the foundations of the program and what it is designed to deliver for the New Zealand forestry sector. Simeon will also describe the research areas that underpin the program and provide details from a range of projects illustrating the depth and range of the research that the Resilient Forests Program enables. Presentation 3 at 11 is from Cherie Belvett, the Nutrient Science Manager at Balance Agri-Nutrients. Cherie's presentation will focus on the Biuret product and will cover a quick recap of the potential of Biuret, why Balance is interested in developing Biuret, the activities and research being conducted in order to bring this product to market, and finally, the timeline for delivery. Presentation 4 at 11:15 will be brought to us by Stu Fraser, who will present on the epidemiology and control of red needlecast. Stu is a research group leader in the ecology and environmental section based at Scion. The aim of this research is to develop recommendations for cost-effective chemical treatment of red needlecast. The approach that Scion have taken around red needlecast is to undertake a series of in-field disease monitoring and controlled lab studies to understand the epidemiology of the disease, which is all about understanding where, when, and why disease outbreaks occur. This information can then be applied to help determine when control operations should be applied within a year, in which years control measures are necessary, and in which areas control measures are needed. Stu will then talk about the large-scale field trials that aim to test the efficacy of copper in controlling red needlecast and optimal spray timings. We will also hear about the work undertaken monitoring the disease impacts on tree growth, which then feeds back into a full cost benefit analysis of the control operations. Presentation 5 at 11:30 a.m. is from Helen Whelan, Lincoln University, who will update us on progress with trichoderma in New Zealand forestry. Helen has a PhD in plant pathology from Lincoln and has undertaken disease research in horticultural crops at Hort Research and the Plant Protection Research Unit at Lincoln. Helen then became a winemaker, a manager and owner of 4 vineyards in Canterbury and Marlborough, and also a grapevine propagation nursery. She's also been involved with property development. Helen returned to Lincoln in 2017 to extend her research capabilities through postdoctoral fellow and research officer positions in the Bioprotection Research Centre. Following the retirement of Dr. Robert Hill, the lead researcher of the Trichoderma Research Program, Helen took over the role of research into beneficial trichoderma in New Zealand forestry. Today's presentation is focused on utilising the power of trichoderma root endophytes for forestry to enhance bioprotection and production. The talk outlines a process whereby trichodermas were bioprospected and selected for growth and foliar disease suppression in radiata pine and other forestry species. This promising work is currently at the stage of validating trichoderma blends and ultimately aims to commercialise a trichoderma bioprotectant for improved growth and tree health. So the final part of today's session will begin at 11:45, and that'll be a simple 20-minute question and answer session, and that'll conclude at 12:05. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the presentations.